Good evening, Sunday night live stream. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thanks for joining us early, guys. Okay, we're going to get started here. Hey, Ham Shack WX5FWT. Thank you for joining the membership group and crew. Appreciate those guys being here tonight. And we'll come in just like that right there. Okay, good. So, welcome to Ham Radio 2.0 Sunday Night Live Stream. Appreciate everyone in the chat, being in the chat early and talking it up. Ham Shack WX5 FWT, thank you for joining the channel membership. Special shout out to all you folks out there, membership in the members in the chat, folks in green text, quite a few of you out there. We did a short members only chat before this went live, when we went live at 6, and then we talked about Charlie and watched part of his live stream together. So that was good. Charlie had a really good live stream. So you guys go back and watch that if you missed it. So, oh, my allergies are getting me. I got to sneeze. Okay. So, want everybody to sign up for the email list. I've been talking about this for a few weeks. hamradio2.com/email-sign up. I've got roughly about 18,000 subscribers on that email list right now. And when I get to 20,000, I'm going to do a giveaway to someone on the email list. So signing up on the email list gets you onto the giveaway list as well. So someone on the email list is going to win a new HF radio. So I haven't decided which one yet. Maybe the FT710 from Yaesu. Maybe that one. But we're going to do that here as soon as that email subscriber list reaches 20,000 email addresses. So yeah, go sign up there. Also, Gigaparts is running a 10% off special with the coupon code of HR2SP, SP for solar panel. All of these solar panels that are designed by Gigaparts, they are made in China and they're imported, but Gigaparts did the design phase on several of them. They bought this solar panel. They said, hey, can you change this, this, and this? And the company said, sure. And then they started mass producing them. So you can save a 10% discount right now with the coupon code of HR2SP. SP for solar panel at Gigaparts with this link. I'll put this link in the chat right now. I was hoping Frank would put the link in the chat for the email list, but he totally missed that. So, and he can hear me right now. So, the last thing is that MNP coax and ABR coax both are 10% discount on the Gigaparts website now. They created me a brand new page. 10% off of all coax at Gigaparts. HR2 cables is that coupon code. You have to use the different coupon codes for the different discounts. I still have my main Gigaparts page with the coupon code of KC5HWB, but these are special pages. So the KC5HWB won't give you 10% off of either one of these two pages. You have to go to the special page and use the special code. So there is that. And you heard it here first, and that's just how it is. So we're going to do a Ask Me Anything. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I blanked on that for a second. We're going to do an Ask Me Anything stream tonight. Steve, KM9G, temporarily offline, has agreed to join me. If anyone else with the YouTube channel would like to join me next month, I have an open slot next month. Someone besides Frank, because Frank's always here. Nothing against Frank. He's always here, though. But yeah, so we're good. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. They can't hear you.
There's a triple raise, and
Now they
Which
can hear
times nothing is still nothing.
you. Yeah. I'll triple your pay next week, Frank. How's that?
Sweet.
Yeah. 3 times 0 is still 0. What's up, guys? How's it going tonight?
Fantastic, man. It's been great weather here lately. I love it.
Are you still down in Livingston?
I am in Livingston. We're going to be here until the end of October because I'm waiting to get driver's licenses and license plates in the mail and stuff. And I think the prisoners have stamped out the license plates and they're waiting over at my my escapees mailbox.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, good. That's good news. So, and then you guys are headed nonchalantly to Quartz Fest, right?
Exactly. We're going to take our dear sweet old time getting over there. It's going to be fantastic. I have no idea where we're staying between Texas and Arizona, but it's going to be great because it's between Texas and Arizona. What could go wrong?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it was fun driving out there last year because when I drove out there by myself, gave Frank and Charlie a free place to stay, and then they went home, and I had to drive home by myself.
How rude.
So, yeah, I know. It was very rude of them. But Charlie put us up. Charlie put us up before Grand Canyon. So Charlie was in the free and clear, but Frank, I don't know about him. So it was, but you should totally drop in
with Electra.
Right. Yeah. You should totally drop into Mesa and invade Charlie when you're going through that area. But,
that'd be awesome. And I got to stop over and see Gaston, the tech prepper too.
Yeah. Well, he was at Quartz Fest this last January.
Oh,
cool. That's where I met him the first time. But he as I was going through part of New Mexico, I got into some mountains and it was snowing. It was like ice storming. And I'm like, I didn't bring clothes for an ice storm. So but it was nice weather the whole time in Quartzsite, Arizona. But on the way there, I got kind of scared because I pulled off to the side of the road and I took a short video. I'm like, look, it's snow. Like there's white stuff. That's white stuff falling from the sky. It's kind of cold. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like rain, but it's not. I don't know. But
there is nothing worse than starting a big trip like that. We went to Daytona Beach Bike Week, and on the trip down on Friday, it was a tropical depression, and we're just absolutely soaked. And then Saturday and Sunday, it was bone dry, and then Monday, boom, the rain hit again. I'm like, could this be any worse? The Bike Week was awesome, but the trip down and the trip back was horrible.
Yeah. Well, and I took 3 days to get out there, and 3 days to get home, and I did that on purpose. I stopped at a POTA park in West Texas the first night, and then I tried to stop at a POTA park in New Mexico the second night, and I got there, and it was what was it called? I forget the name of it now, like Valley of Rocks or something like that. State Park in New Mexico, and
that sounds familiar, actually.
It was beautiful, but there were no hookups, so I didn't have any electricity, which is okay, I guess. It wasn't too hot during that time of year, so it was all right. But then the site they gave me was like slanted down and an angle, and I'm like, dude, I don't have 47 leveling blocks with me on this trip. And I stayed there for a couple hours, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go down the road and find like a rest stop and crash for the night and hit the road early the next morning. So I did that. It was kind of it was a POTA spot, and I wanted to activate it, but I didn't get to. So, it is what it is. But lessons learned for next time. So, City of Rocks. Chris says City of Rocks. That might be it. City of Rocks. State Park in New Mexico. So Seahorn, thank you for the super chat. He says for Tank, $4.99 super chat for Tank. I'm not going to give that Frank, but thank you. I will keep it and add it to my earnings. So
buy me a beer.
I'll buy you a beer. Frank. But yeah. So ask me anything. So that's the topic for tonight. Frank is going to be watching the chat. I'm going to be watching the chat. If you type the word question in your comment in the chat, it will highlight it for us, and we'll be able to see it a little bit better. But yeah, so that's what it is. I started this 3 or 4 months ago, kind of on a whim, because I was like, well, I don't have anything to talk about tonight, so let's just do an Ask Me Anything, and people loved it. Got a great response to it, so officially I started 3 months ago. We did one with who was for T.O., were you on?
I don't know, but 3 months ago and 1 week prior was the Ask Me Anything premiere on Nuggets. So I'm not saying anything, but take that however you will.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Somebody asked me about that. Like Jason, somebody else is doing it. As like I didn't invent Ask Me Anything. I saw it on Reddit like 10 years ago. Yeah. I saw it on Reddit like 10 years ago. So yeah, whatever.
But I can still give you shit about it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I would expect nothing less. But somebody was on. I can't remember who was on the show 2 months ago. Maybe it was you. But Hayden was on last month. Yeah, Hayden was on last month. So so we'll have someone new next month. Like I said, if you have a YouTube channel and you want to join the Ask Me Anything, Joe Brett's in the chat. I was waiting for Joe Brett to join. Would like to get Joe Brett in the chat because his voice is soothing. It puts people to sleep. So
it does.
You forget you're watching. You fall asleep on your keyboard, and then you gave me more watch time on the channel because Joe Brett lulled you to sleep. It's a win-win for everybody.
Hey,
so
I see how Sam came in the chat and like Tank immediately approved that comment right away.
You know it, man. I'm a moderator. I got the power.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
Talking about soothing voice. Smoking Ape's voice is very soothing.
He's good at that too. Yep. He's good at that too. But so that's it. But
now this story is out of love for him. When we hosted the first YouTubers Hamfest, and both me and Ape did the first opening stream, and we're announcing everybody, and I opened it up. I came on, hey, what's going on, y'all? Da, 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 da. And Ape's turn to talk. He's like, yeah, let's go ahead and run down the schedule. And I feed off of energy, and it was just sucking it away. When I come back to talk, I'm like, yep. And now we are going to go to.
Yeah. He's kind of like, and now it's evening time with Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have the 9 p.m. Every music, only 10 minutes of chat per hour.
So
and you hear the smooth sounds of slow jazz.
The smooth.
I put his podcast on at night, so I'm hoping osmosis will happen, and I get all his knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. All right, so Mike, KO4PDI, yeah, I got that right. What do you use to edit? What do you use to edit your videos? I have Power Director 365. That's what I use. Power Director 365, Cyberlink. I've used that for years. And they updated it today, and now it crashes every time try to add a file. Well, sometimes that does happen. So I've been using Cyberlink Power Director for years and years. I do have Adobe Premiere, and I use it sometimes, but I'm not very good at it. I haven't ever taken the time to sit down and learn it. It is more powerful. It is better. I know Frank is going to talk about
DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci, and I think that's what most people are using these days. So both of you go. What do you guys use?
Go ahead,
DaVinci.
Steve, first.
I use DaVinci Resolve, but it's more than just what video editor you use. Most video editors do the exact same thing. It's about using like your extra talents and like setting up different camera angles and putting in overlays. Like Jason, you've really done a really good job on this lately with putting in like extra B-roll and stock footage and stuff like that, and it keeps the eyeballs engaged and keeps people on screen, which is good.
I have a comment. Right. Jason lets me say it.
Go ahead. It's fine. I've said it before.
Jason has been outsourcing some of his videos, and that's why they are extremely YouTubey with all the cuts. No, wah. I'm like, oh!
I'm the one who told him to do. I said, hey, because that kind of, I don't remember if he reached out to me or if I found him. I don't remember. It's been several months ago, but he sent me some example. He's like, let me do some editing for you. And he sent me an example. I was like, I like that. It looks good, but I want this, this, and this. So all of that's actually my idea. And then he has progressed with it very well. He has grown himself very well with that. So I'm like, hey, do your thing. You know what I want? Just, yeah. So it's very rare that I have to send anything back anymore. I had to send the first several back, but he's good at learning. So yeah. But yeah.
If you're trying to break into the whole YouTube space, I highly recommend going to vidIQ or to TubeBuddy. They put out several sub 3-minute videos a week. Don't watch their live. I mean, watch the live streams if you want to, but don't watch the live streams because they're like 2 hours long and they're channel reviews. But they put out these really punchy, really super quick 3-minute videos. Do nothing but watch them, and it will just kind of osmosis sink into you. And I should do like scene changes in my video to keep the audience alive. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
And you'll just start to like organically get better.
I just watch my own videos and be like, I'm bored. Let's do something else now. And that's when I jump to the next cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
they
it's
say like every 4 seconds make a scene change, and it's not true.
That's too much.
It's a rule of thumb. Like now,
it's actually not
Now.
too much if you're really boring.
Like-
So it really kind of depends on, and I don't mean I'm not trying to be rude when I say that, but you know how you guys know how all these talking head videos go. Sometimes it's just one guy looking at the camera talking for like 30 minutes, and you're like, somebody
I had
hand
to
me
get
a
on
beer,
somebody.
you know,
They did
that
a
kind of thing.
they did
So,
a screenshot, not a screenshot. They did a camera on a tripod pointed at a 705 and talked for 15 minutes.
well, yeah.
And when he watches the video, he's going to yell at me because he knows exactly who he is. Don't do that ever.
All right, let's see. This question doesn't make sense to me, but we're gonna tackle it. Okay,
That's was the one I was about to bring up. Yeah, go
how,
for it.
How can I tell whether or not my laptop has a built-in sound card for use with WinLink? You basically watch a YouTube video, and if you can hear sound coming out of your laptop, it has a built-in sound card. Seriously,
any laptop built since 1995 or
right.
so will do it.
Yeah.
Anything with a USB port. Yeah.
There's no way your laptop does not have a sound card. It may be malfunctioning, but it's likely there. So now, use with WinLink, that's something I've not touched. I've not done a lot of WinLink. I've done a little bit of WinLink, but I think it's more important. If I'm not mistaken, it's more important to have an interface between your radio and the laptop, to like a DigiRig or a Sound Blaster.
But those
this.
are additional sound cards that could get better audio quality from the mic coming into the computer.
Correct.
Versus some lame software they have on there.
Correct.
But majority of laptops, if they have a line in, they should be able to do Link and other applications.
Yeah. If you have a line in, if you have a microphone in and a speaker out port, 3.5 millimeter jack, you should be able to do WinLink. So that's the short answer. The Moby Link, the newest one, the version 4, is Bluetooth. So if your laptop has Bluetooth, you can Bluetooth the Moby Link to it and use it for sound in and out with Bluetooth. So you can use. I haven't done that myself, but I've seen others do it.
So there's getting started, and then there's dabbling, and then there's mission critical. So getting started, use the sound card that's built into your laptop, no problems whatsoever. Dabbling in it a little bit deeper, you want something with some kind of audio isolation that keeps any of the RFI and extraneous computer noises from going back and forth between the two. And then, like, really seriously, you want some high-end stuff, maybe a dedicated piece of hardware, like Jason's saying, the Moby Linked. But I mean, you could easily get started with a couple of 3.5 millimeter aux cables and whatever sound card you currently have on your laptop, and it will work. I mean, this stuff has been around since the Commodore 64. You know?
Yeah,
we got this.
And Steve would know. Steve would know about that. That's true.
I would
like
to go to Tom's question.
Okay, go ahead. What's Tom saying?
Have y'all been doing any QSO parties this weekend? There were a lot of QSO parties going on this weekend, and did y'all
accidentally?
Yeah. I did not. My wife's in the chat, so it'll be nice. No, we went to Palo Duro Canyon State Park on Wednesday. We spent 2 nights there, Wednesday, Thursday night. I activated the park 3 times. Wednesday, I did a late shift on Wednesday, so it rolled over into Thursday that night. I did a late shift on Thursday, so it rolled over into Friday that night. So I got 3 days of activation, sideband and FT8. And then Friday, we drove to Lubbock, and we spent some time with her, some of her family, and we went to a Texas Tech football game yesterday. Not the highlight of my weekend, but she enjoyed it, and that's why we were doing. She let me do some POTA for a couple days, and then we went and saw a football game. And thank God it was not that cold. It was a little chilly, but it could have been like 25 degrees in the Texas Panhandle. It does get that cold, and it was not. It was not bad. So we had
the secret to a happy marriage is counterbalance.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So she got
to
see
do some
her
stuff that
game.
she likes, and she does some stuff that you like.
That's right. That's exactly right. So yes. So I didn't get to play any radio this weekend for the Solar Eclipse QSO party, or while the Solar Eclipse was happening yesterday. Frank, if you want to talk about some of that, you can.
I participated in some of the Solar Eclipse QSO parties just by receiving I put my hat in to participate with the ham size stuff, but they didn't get back to me with instructions. You better for the 2024. I definitely want to help out there. Other than that, I was calling CQ on 20 meters and a couple of the other bands, and I really was just feeling like I was calling into the void when I went and got onto FT8, and that's when I started making a lot of contacts. But soon as the eclipse started happening, I left the radio. I went to go and man the camera and watch it.
Yeah,
I'm
the
thinking
opposite
about
of science.
I'm thinking about next year. Well, let me get back to that. Next year, if I'm not participating in the actual ham science event, I'll just probably automate FTA and just let it roll. That being said, what the ham science was looking for, and I read their webpage trying to participate, is that they were grouping people together, and certain groups were operating on a given band, and one person out of that group was going to be transmitting a wave file. The receivers in that group were supposed to be on that frequency and receiving that wave file, and based on their grid squares, they will know where they're at.
Yeah.
And the how the atmosphere was reflecting that particular band at that moment in time. I think there was also some time encoding in the wave file, so they know when in that transmission it was received. But it was pretty cool. I hoped that I was going to be selected, and if you were selected, then of course you hit receive, hit record, and then you walk away and go watch the eclipse.
Right.
Let the computer and radio do the work for you.
Well, the next eclipse, the total eclipse, is next April, and it is on a Monday.
Not the annular eclipse, the total eclipse.
The total
eclipse.
Yeah, it's the
because
total
I just
eclipse.
learned seconds ago the difference.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
But the ham sci workshop, which I've attended for the last 3 years, and I'll be at the one next year. I believe it's in Cleveland next year. I believe, Cleveland. Yeah, March 22nd and 23rd in Cleveland, Ohio. I will be here. But this is a month before. Well, it's actually like 3 weeks before the next eclipse, and they are going to talk the heck out of it at this show. So if you're interested in space weather, citizen science, astronomy, study of the atmosphere, ionosphere, that kind of thing, this is a fun workshop to attend. Most of it's a little over my head, but it's a fun workshop. So if you guys want to meet up there sometime in Cleveland next March, go to hamsci.org/hamsci20. I'll put the link in the chat here. You don't have that one, Frank?
No, I
I'll
don't.
put that in the chat. If you guys are interested in going to that, let's talk between now and March, and maybe we'll go to a POTA like one of those nights when I'm there. So. That's cool. But it's a cool show. If you enjoy that sort of thing, it's a cool show, which, again, it's a little over my head, but I do enjoy it, so I tend to try to learn from it as much as I can. So, okay, what's next?
That's next. John's talking about can you please explain how to set a custom profile picture in the POTA page? Since we're talking about POTA, I pulled that one. So go ahead and tell them why I don't have a custom picture.
Oh, because you're a doofus?
Pretty much. I refuse to do what they want you to do.
Well, okay, so sign in. Oh, you got to have this because the Gravatar, isn't it?
There it is.
Gravatar.
Okay. Yeah. You got to have a Gravatar image. And is that still the case here?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
It is.
I don't remember where. It's been so long since I've done that.
But yeah, you got to set up a Gravatar account.
You have to set up
link it. Or I don't even think you have to link it. You have to just point it to that Gravatar location or something.
Well, your Gravatar account is. I've had Gravatar for years. Your Gravatar is set up by email address. So you assign an image to an email address, and you can add 10 or 15 or 20 email addresses. So whatever email address you have for your POTA website is what it pulls from Gravatar once you hook your Gravatar to it. But I don't remember. Oh yeah, here it is right here. So log in, click down here, go to my account, and then click over here where it says Gravatar, and that's where you sign up and do that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So I've had Gravatar for years. Long before I did YouTube, I had a Gravatar account. So I just logged in and updated it for that email address and forgot about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I used to use Woody from Toy Story, and then I updated it to be my YouTube face.
Okay, well, nothing wrong with that.
I'm just backwards and refuse to do it.
Yeah. You could have stopped it backwards. But now I kind of get it. I kind of get it, Frank. I understand what you're talking about. But since I've had Gravatar for so long, it didn't really bother me. All right, Red Summit RF in the house. What's up, Charlie? Again, those of you who weren't here at the beginning, go watch Charlie's live stream. I watched about
Josh
the first.
on.
Yeah,
that's a good poll.
So yeah. So I lost my train of thought. So go watch Charlie's stream. But he's asking, what's your favorite POTA park?
Anyone I'm in at the particular time, and
mine is Galveston Island State Park, simply because I've got a double kilo there and I like being in that area. But I tell you what, Montesano in Alabama is a very nice POTA spot. That's a very nice POTA spot. So Big Bend National Park is very, very pretty. So
hi Steve. My
video's frozen.
It is.
I don't know why. I'm moving.
Okay.
I'm animated.
You're animated.
I love the picture it froze on.
yeah.
Let's restart OBS.
My POTA spot is Cedar Hill State Park.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick a park that's going to be like my favorite, I haven't activated this park. I want to go back to Dinosaur Valley.
I haven't done that one either. Mike has done that one. I haven't done that one.
So. Configure your Cameo Studio. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Live streaming. You know how it's like.
I know what's
doing it live.
No worries.
Steve,
this is a good one right here. Using my FT891 WSJTX, I've noticed that when I go to transmit, my transmit drops from 14.074 to 14.073.5. This is happening on all bands, FT8 frequency. Don't know why this is happening. Thanks. That's normal. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
That's normal.
On the radio page, you have it set to split instead of fake it or none.
Right. And it's totally acceptable to do that. So don't worry about it. Just keep going. If you're making contacts, just keep going. So it's totally
arguably
fine to do
better.
That.
Hey, camera fixed.
Hey,
it's
you're back.
arguably better to do that because what WSJTX is trying to do is it's trying to move the frequency that you have picked in the waterfall to where you want to transmit. That's your nice clean space. It's trying to move that underneath of the most optimal place on your radio to transmit. So it's centering your radio's outbound signal on the spot that you have chosen in the waterfall in WSJTX. Somehow it always seems to be like 7073.5 for me, no matter what I do. So
same here.
I don't know how accurate it is or good it is, but it's supposed to be doing something useful.
Yeah. I would not. I wouldn't worry about it. In fact, I mean, if you're making contacts, that's all that really counts. As long as you're, if you're receiving everything and the little meter on the bottom left is green, not red, and your audio and your transmit and receive audio sound card on the audio tab is set correctly, or else you would not be receiving everything. And you start calling CQ and you get a ham alert on yourself. If you don't have your own call sign in ham alert, put your own call sign in ham alert. Not in a vein, not because of a vein thing, but that way you know when you're getting out. If you're calling if you're working FT8 or CW, and sometimes if you get spotted on the POTA page, it'll show up too. If you're just random sideband, it may not show up. But if you get spotted on ham alert, then you know you're getting out. So it's not a bad thing to do that.
Talking about
Frank
FT8,
in the chat is saying that it does it on Fake It and it does it on Split. On Fake It, it does it by changing it QSYs the frequency on cat control, and on Split, it uses the split function for the VFO-A, VFO-B function in your radio. Both of them are exactly the same thing, just one of them is split and one of them is QSY. It doesn't matter.
Right. Correct.
I like Philip's follow-up question, kind of the same topic here. How can you tell the difference between transmit on even and transmit on odds in WSJTX?
That is, I don't fully understand that myself. I'll tell you what I know, or what I think I know, and then you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. One of them is, as I understand it, one of them matters if you call someone or you call. So there's basically three back and forth. You call someone, they call back to you. You give them a report, they give you a report. You say Roger, 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 and they say 73. That can be reversed as well if they call you. I don't know if that has anything to do with odd. I usually leave mine checked for odd, because that little checkbox is there, and I don't know. Sometimes I find I must have unchecked it, or the program unchecked itself, and I'm still making contacts. So I'm like, I don't fully understand what that means. It's
so
something
what
about
is
go ahead.
Every FT8 does a volley every 15 seconds. You either are the first person to go. So at 1:00 is even. Let's just pick it. And at 1:15 is odd. So if you call CQ at 1:00 and somebody else is calling CQ at 1:00, you're talking at the exact same time and can't hear each other. If you call CQ at 1:00 and I call CQ at 1:15, then you're even and I'm odd. And again, I might have these backwards, but that's not the point.
No, I think you're right.
You can call CQ, and then I can hear you call CQ. But one of us has to be even. If I'm trying to talk to Jason, I have to be even. He has to be odd. If he's even, I have to be odd, because otherwise we're talking at the same time, and you can't talk and listen at the same time, much like life.
Right.
You have to talk and listen, talk and listen, talk and listen, talk and listen, talk and listen.
Is that what I've been doing wrong?
Odd.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that will get you is in the waterfall. Once you're on it and you're actually transmitting, you only see the other side of the transmit. You can't see your own transmit. So you're only seeing the odd side of the waterfall if you're set to even. And so if somebody moves in on your frequency to reply, you'll see them on the same frequency, but that doesn't mean they've taken up your even slice. That means they've taken up the odd slice, whichever one you happen to be.
Yeah, this chat is screaming at you. You're wrong on your guess there. 00 and 30 are the even slots. 15 and 45 are the odd slots.
Yeah, and that wasn't the important part I was trying to convey.
Right,
but that's what all I'm getting from the chat right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you, and I admitted first off.
Yeah, right. Yeah. One of them's even, one of them's odd. I don't. Yeah, it doesn't. Ham Radio Wilderness. Who uses Roger anymore? WSJTX does. That's literally what it says. It says RRR. And if I'm calling Steve, it'll say my call sign, it'll say Steve's call sign, it'll say RRR, and then Steve will send 73 back to me, and we're done. It pops up the little window and says, do you want to log this contact? Which I always select that.
You don't want to
select
the R73? Roger the R73?
You can select it, yeah.
You can select that. I don't. I use RRR. I mean, that's what
whatever's the default in this.
That's what it is by default. By default, it's RRR. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know what? You got a contact in your logbook. Done. Move on.
Get started, then get better.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 1% better with every video. Okay. So, let's see. These are good questions, guys. Keep them coming. Let's see.
Lewis?
So real quick, Chris Polis has a question. Yes. Have you ever tried taking an HT on a plane? You can take it on the plane
all the time.
You cannot operate it on the plane. Don't even bother turning it on.
You're not supposed to operate it on the plane.
Yeah. You need permission from the captain, and good luck getting that on a commercial flight. Now, if you would like to operate on a plane, go down to your local airport, rent some seat time on a Cessna. Say you want to do a check flight. It's like $60. Where I was from in Wisconsin, they'll take you up in the air. They might even let you play with the controls a little bit once they get up there. And you can play on the radio if you tell them ahead of time, and they're totally cool with it. And if you really know the pilot, they'll let you plug your HT into their antenna on the plane, and that'll be fantastic. But like on a, American Airlines or Southwest,
you're not
keep it off. Nobody will say anything.
I've taken and that question comes up a lot, and I've talked about it a lot, but people keep asking, and that's
never
fine.
had an issue.
I
got
one
bed
radio on a plane in case
one bed I through TSA. And that was
I've got 2 or 3 Molly radio packs on the outside of my bag that I put through the scanner every time I go to the airport, and about once every 20 times someone will say, "Is that a radio?" "Yeah, it's a ham radio." "Oh, okay." And they, most of the time they don't even look at it. Most of the time they don't even say anything.
It's when you pack dense that they start to worry. Like if you've got a radio and a battery and a bunch of wire and another radio and another battery and a bunch of wire,
the battery,
some alarms.
The battery will freak them out. The battery will freak them out. So make sure you're carrying a 12 amp hour or smaller and no more than 2 per the regulations and airlines differ. This is American Airlines I'm talking about. The battery will. I had them stop me when I flew to Portland to visit Chris and Buddy Pole. I had them stop me and pull my tripod out, and they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a tripod," and it was a piece of a tripod. Like it came off in like 3 sections. You could put it together so you could have a longer, taller tripods, but it broke down to be more compact. And they pulled out the bottom piece, which was the heaviest piece. It was this big. It was about yay long. Maybe 6 inches long. Yeah, maybe 8 inches long, and it was heavy. It was silver and heavy, and you could have clubbed someone over the head with that easily. But they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's a look at the mount on the bottom. It's a tripod. It's part of a tripod." And I said it goes with this and this. Okay, we're gonna have to check and see if you can take this. And they did. They let me took it. So, oops. I've never had him ask me about a tripod before. Wow.
Every time I fly with Jason, I have the worst TSA experience ever.
Yeah, because Jason's in the front going, look at that guy.
I know, yeah, because I have pre-check and I get through there and I'm like waiting on Frank. And then
they're always pulling me for extra checks. And what is this? A battery?
Oh boy.
You haven't seen a battery before?
Never seen a battery before, yeah. So Josh is in the house. What's up, Josh? He says we use RR73 now. It's faster. If you want to go faster, do FT4. I don't know. I've never used
faster.
it. I don't know.
Faster?
It's still
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's still 15 seconds. I don't know what he's talking about. Tech Prepper's in the house also. What's up, Gaston?
I
don't think Gaston's ever joined one of my live streams unless it's been the happy hour he's been on a couple times. So I feel honored to be graced with his presence tonight. What's up, guys? So, all right, questions. Anybody with questions? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Shane may let you use your HT when he flies. Yeah,
right?
Get on a plane with Shane. Yeah, that's the thing.
Or a hot air balloon.
Is AC0RV commenting about me? Did he spill something on his keyboard?
Oh yes, you want to tell that story, Frank?
So my
not really.
Last Sunday, my live stream, I had a side camera going up, and that's usually where I have all my drinks on the side over here. So I had to move it over here, and my Rudy's cup, which I have just water, pink, because that's what they gave me today. Hit my elbow hit it and dumped the full cup of water right on to my keyboard, and it's not working, so I had to buy another one. I still got the one pulled out of my closet. The waterproof one came in today. Yay!
Nice, very cool.
All the liquids away from the keyboard.
Good.
I'm trying.
John in the chat. Now this comment's not showing up in my plugin for some reason. Sometimes the plugin skips comments. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, he says RR73 doesn't require the reception of 73, so you skip a cycle. I'm gonna have to try that. I don't know that I've ever tried that.
You have to put that in special, or do you have to go into the settings and tell it to do the RR73?
It's a checkbox, is it not?
I don't have WSJT.
I don't have it. I don't know.
Perhaps if one of us had an operating radio station right now.
This is YouTube. We don't radio here. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, sometimes. I don't
I got it over here.
I don't remember. I don't it's an option in there, but I don't remember where it's at.
It's not in the first page, the default. Maybe it's in the
double click
settings.
on that volley for RRR. And see
Double
if it changes
click
automatically.
on
the TX, what is it? TX5? TX4?
TX4.
Just double click on the TX4.
It's a settings check. It's in settings a checkbox. I thought it was a checkbox.
If you double click on TX4, yes, it changes to RR73.
Gotcha.
Then the next one underneath it's 73. But then do you have to do that for each and every one? Or
no, I think once you do it the first time, it does it for the rest. And then also if you... I think it's if you I'm not sure. I know the chat's going to be all over me. Double click on either TX1 or TX2 and it will change to that one as your default first volley and you'll skip giving them the grid square. So now you've switched it. Now you've shrunk the 15 seconds off the front and the 15 seconds off the end. So it's 45. Don't math on camera. It's 45 seconds total instead of a minute 15 seconds.
I think that's what it does. It does something like that when you go into field day mode. Because there's a field on
Don't you want grid squares and additional information in field day? You need not grid squares.
Well, but it
depends on your mission.
Depends on your mission. It cuts out it cuts out one or two of those volleys though. If you put it into
there's
field
special
day
modes,
special modes, yeah.
Fox, Hound, field day.
Yeah.
Then some other contests.
Metro Atlanta. Let me see. So.
Woohoo, Yusuf.
Yeah, so Metro Atlanta Ham Radio. Steve, what's up? The Bluetooth 2 meter 70 centimeter radio, not the head unit, is what dual band APRS radio should be. What's he talking about?
What are you talking about,
I have
Willis?
no idea.
The blue, yeah.
We're probably agreeing on what modern ham radio should look like. Ham radio is all about 20 years behind the current scene.
Yeah, we just got USB-C, guys. We've actually got some
only
radios
to charge
with
the battery.
Right. Yeah. Oh goodness, it's funny. It's funny. Okay, let's get back to the questions here. Gene has a good one. Can you tune a ham stick antenna by ear by moving the stringer up and down? Works with my buddy stick. Yes, you can. You got to be kind of good. Yeah, it's not easy to do, but yeah, you can turn. You can.
The cue on a ham stick is about that big. So when you move it like that much, that's you're out of band. So you gotta be really good.
Yeah,
can be done.
Gotta be really, really careful with it, but yeah, sure you can. So back to the grid square thing. So Del Fargus, that's a great name, by the way. Ticks me off slightly when someone answers my CQ without a grid square. So I had this guy one time, I was working, and this guy kept replying to me saying grid, all caps, question mark, grid. And I wanted to reply back. I wanted to change my text and reply back to him and say, grid is your location, doofus. But he was asking what my grid was. But I had my grid in WSJTX. I always have my grid in WSJTX. So for whatever reason, it didn't transmit correctly. And he didn't get it, and he thought I wasn't sending a grid, which I was. I had made 100 contacts that day, and he was the only one who complained about it, so I assume he's the only one. So, sometimes it's just propagation, guys. Sometimes it's like receiving a static signal, SSTV signal. You receive an SSTV image, and sometimes they're really clear, and sometimes they're not so clear. It's the same thing. So it really depends on.
And so people talking about this in the chat, if you ever make contact, like if you get to the point in the day where the Japanese wake up, they will send you contacts on FT8 without a grid square.
Yeah.
Just accept it because it's Japan, dude. You ain't going to get Japan any other way.
And the grid square TNK 117 is totally valid. That's wherever I'm at.
Okay.
You didn't watch Mike's Mailbag Monday?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see it.
About a month or so ago.
I didn't see that one. So, okay, let's see.
Don's asking about a Ham Shack video update. Wants to see all those old radios behind you.
You know what? I was just thinking I'm going to do that this week. I was just making plans. It seems like I just did, but it was like 2 years ago.
No, it must be the members only video that I saw earlier this week.
No, I didn't have a members only video this week.
I was throwing you a bone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. No, I was actually just thinking about that. I want to move this monitor over here and move these lights and move the desk a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do another video rearranging the Ham Shack, updating the Ham Shack. So yes, this week, hopefully, Dawn. It probably won't post for a week or two, but yeah, I'm actually working on that right now. Jody, gridless in Seattle. That's right. That's good. I like that.
Jeff has a question here.
Okay.
How do you change your grid square on a POTA activation? You look up your grid square and put it inside WSJTX.
Yeah, so I use the Repeater Book app on my mobile phone, and it tells me right away what my grid square is, and it's kind of like an unknown feature.
That's what I use the RFinder app instead of Repeater Book, but yeah, RFinder will tell you what your grid square is. It's one of the first things it says. Yeah.
Now, when you enter it, you only need to enter the 2 letters and 2 numbers.
WSJTX prefers the 6, but only transmits the 4.
Yeah.
What?
It doesn't. I always
if you
enter
hover
4.
over the box, it tells you we prefer 6. Okay, good for you.
Yeah, but you only transmit 4. So it's in the very first settings tab when you go in there and you set your call sign. The next space over is grid square, and what I do is I will usually create a new profile for every radio I use. Mm-hmm. So I will go into the profile for that radio, like my 705 or my 71 or 7300 and FTDX10, and I would just change the grid square in the tab of that profile. You could create a brand new profile for every grid square if you wanted to. I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you're planning on going back to the same park over and over and over again, and it's in a different grid square than where you live or something. But you can change it in that tab, or you can create a different profile. I just use it in the radio profile I've created and change it to wherever I'm at. That's how I do it.
Oh, you got a super chat question, Jason. Go for it.
Metro Atlanta, thank you for the $2 super chat. And then he sent me another one, yeah. I was talking about the VRN 7500. Yes, that's
his
a nice
previous question where he was asking that question to me and we didn't know what he was talking about. He was talking about the Vero. The Vero is a nice radio.
It's a nice radio.
What was his question again?
He said, what dual band APRS radios should, it wasn't a question, it was a statement. He's like, it's what dual band APRS radios should be. What are the manufacturers waiting on? And
so it's an Android tablet based app that will let you do APRS from the N7500, and the N7500 doesn't have a front screen. It's the one that you program and then just use. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. There's a guy who makes an all-star dongle to go into that radio, and I've done a couple of live streams on it. I couldn't get it to work, so he wanted me to send him the radio. He's like, send me the dongle back and send the radio with it, because I don't have my radio anymore, and I'll see what's wrong with it. So we're gonna get that done one of these days. But that would be a cool cool radio to have for a mobile all-star node, because you don't need a face for it. So you just put it behind the seat or under the seat and bring it up on your tablet or your phone and control it from there. So the
thing I want to try, and I'm really lazy and I've got a lot of stuff to do, is they make an Android rear view mirror.
Yes, I've seen
those. I
want
to use the N7500 with the Android rear view mirror, or with the aftermarket Android Auto, because the pre-market, like the factory direct Android Auto, won't let you run third-party apps, but I think the aftermarket Android Auto will.
I found I think it's a Sony double din car stereo that has a pop-up screen, and it looks like a triple din pop-up screen, and you can kind of adjust it up and down, but it runs Android Auto, and you can. And I asked him, I was like, actually, I think I found it in a local car stereo shop, and I was talking to him about it. I went home and looked it up on Amazon. I read some more information about it. Same price, so I'll probably buy it here. But yeah, it'll let you install because my thing was, well, what if I want to install like APRS Droid? Somebody mentioned APRS Droid. If you install APRS Droid on your big double din, right? Yeah. Well, but if it does allow apps, you could install APRS Droid on it, and you could track yourself and track other call signs on your big screen on your car stereo.
Why would they allow you to do that? I don't know.
Because you're supposed to be driving, not playing with your ham radio.
What? Who is them? They Big Brother to approve or not approve? It should be up to the app. Who I want to do the Android Auto API, and here's my interface. Blah.
Some people don't know how to drive. We'll just leave it at that.
That is a very true statement.
You mean I can't play on my phone and just go down on the road?
Right.
You can, but running Sapphire like you do, I'd be careful with that, because you're going to get crushed by pretty much anything you ever hit. So I'm just going to put that out there real quick.
Sapphire's the new ham radio dating app. You just swipe left and it's all Frank.
Right.
I love it.
All right, Lester, this is going to be a loaded question, so here goes. What is everyone's thoughts on the Yaesu FTM 500?
I muted. You didn't hear me.
Yeah. I like it. I know a lot of you FTM 400 fans don't like it, and KM4ACK at Huntsville Hamfest last year, he explained to me why the FTM 400 was better in purposes of APRS, and I agree with him. I think he's right. But I never had an FTM 400. I have a 300, a 100, and I had a 200 for a short bit, and I sold it. I have I like the 500. The APRS sending and receiving a message, sending messages is cumbersome. It's very strange. The non-QWERTY
have a QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah, the non-QWERTY keyboard is weird. Agreed. I agree with all of that, but I like the radio overall. I like it, and once you get used to it, it's kind of like anything else. You're like, well, now this is what I'm used to. So I've been running mine for 6 or 8 months.
That's the big deal. Jason, you nailed it right there. When you get the FTM 500, forget what you know about radio. Start fresh. Don't look at it like, I know how to ham radio. Let me hit VFOB. Let me tune to the frequency. Let me do the thing I want to do. Let me switch back to VFOA. Let me contact the repeater. It doesn't work that way by design. It's not that it's broken. It's that it's different. And if you go into it thinking different, it's fine. If you go into it thinking every other radio I've ever used, you will be very upset.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. And T-Man says that you're missing out on the FTM 400. Okay, I've said this on the live stream before, and I'm going to say it again. Okay. When Yaesu first came out with System Fusion, they had that DR1X repeater, the one that they sold to all the clubs for $500 that never lived up to the hype because you never could install a HRI 200 box in it, like they said you could at the beginning. The first two radios they came out with was the FT1D, which I still have mine. I still like that radio. The only problem with it is the battery life is terrible, especially if you're running APRS. And the FTM 400. Several of the club members that I still know to this day, several club members bought that FTM 400. One guy bought one and put it in his. He bought two of them. He put one in his truck and one in his house. And about a year and a half later, about 6 months after the warranty expired, all those radios died. I say all of them, like 75% of them. Like I know 4 people in my local club that the FTM 400 died 6 months out of warranty, and they could send it back to Yaesu to get a rebuild done and pay the same amount of money as buying a brand new radio, or they could throw it in the trash. And that soured me on the FTM 400 for a long, long time. Now, once they came out with the new XDR, XPR, whatever the newest version is, that problem went away. So that problem doesn't exist anymore. But it soured me on the FTM 400 for a long, long time, and that's why I never got one. So the FTM 100, when it came out, I love that radio. Still got mine. The 300 I like. The 500 I like. So if you have a Yaesu radio and it works for you, then use that radio. End of story.
Right.
So can you still text? Can you still text to cell phones with APRS?
They just changed that.
You can if you had an account beforehand, but not since they shut the account down. You can't create a new account.
That's why I was going with the officially no. But TL, do you know something else?
I don't know anything official, but I think there's an SMS to email gateway, and then you use the email to there's an APRS to email gateway, and then you use the email to SMS gateway, and then they can respond to the SMS to email gateway, which can then respond to the yeah, it's a mess, and it's government regulations that made it a mess.
Yeah.
We're hams. We'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
So okay, but you brought up the government regulations. Is that why they had to shut it down, or
yeah?
Really?
I heard it was sexting. I heard people were literally sexting from their ham radios.
Who cares?
Oh, Jason, can you explain what that is? Maybe an example. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, and yes, you do. You have 3 daughters. You know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So,
why does it matter?
La, la, la,
But
why would that matter? Who cares? If you want to do that on an open frequency and see everyone sees your business.
I don't know. I didn't say I was against it or for it. I just said that I heard that's why they shut it down. So I'm not making any. I'm not making any claims about.
That is the spam calls they can get rid of. Is the ham radio sexting.
Oh, they're getting rid of those.
But they can't get rid of like the guy that's calling me to tell me that I owe money to the IRS or my health insurance. Like who's gonna receive a spam call from a health insurance company and want to do business with them? Like, doesn't that just scream greasy? And I know people fall for this stuff, but like they shouldn't.
Warranty is about to go out, or your Windows computer needs a critical update that we're calling you to install.
Yeah, I saw a meme one time and it said, I don't stop for people who are broken down on the side of the road anymore because you guys had plenty opportunity to extend your car's out of service warranty.
Right.
I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. So, Don says his 400s work flawlessly. I love them, but the old ones have no experience with. Okay. That makes sense.
Thinking of buying a second G90. Yes. Go for it. I love that G90.
Mm-hmm. No other rig works as good. I would like to know what you. I'm not saying you're wrong or that I disagree with you. I would like to know what you mean by that.
It's a great rig. Now where it falls flat is it's only 20 watts. Other than that,
see, I don't think so. I think where it falls flat is it has absolutely no filtering on the receive end. If you're used to listening to a 7300 or an FTDX10, you go use a G90, you're like, what is this noise?
Well, I barely
Yeah.
But the filters are built into it. You don't have to turn them on or off.
So Todd is from Hawaii, and if Todd can say a G90 is good, first off, that's a thing because Hawaii is very difficult for ham radio operators.
Mhm.
But second, I'll probably die on this hill. Don't get me wrong, but I think dollar for dollar, the G90 is every bit of what you pay for it, and it's like a $400 radio. It's got a waterfall. It's got a tuner. You can do digital modes with it. It's 20 watts.
It's one of the best tuners you can get in a radio.
Right. Compare that to an FT891. FT891 is a great radio, but as far as like dollar for dollar, value for value, is the FT891 a value to buy? Like I'm going and I'm looking on the discount menu. I'm looking on the extra value meal menu. Don't get me wrong, but
no, I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't have a waterfall, etc.
It doesn't have, well, neither one of them have a built-in sound card. You said it would do digital mode. The G90 would do digital modes only with the CE19 or 20 device. It doesn't have a built-in sound card. And neither does the 891.
It's the same thing with the 891, so
right,
agreed.
Correct. So you can put a digi-rig on both of those and have FT8. And the digi-rig has the same driver. You can plug it into any radio. It's the same thing.
Or you can hotwire some cables if you that kind of
or you could use a $6 sound card USB
so wipe that off the table.
Same.
Got it.
But the waterfall, it's tiny. That's true. It is a color screen. It's a nice looking color screen. It has a hell of all of the Zygoos have a hell of a tuner.
Mm-hmm.
But 20 watts compared to 100 watts. I don't know. I mean, I'm not dogging the G90. I think it's a great radio for what it is. But
I won't say it's the best. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying value for value, dollar for dollar.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think I would agree with that. And see, I liked the 6100 because it had all the built-in things. I don't know if did they ever get the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth working? I don't know.
No, it's a physical limitation. It's Wi-Fi antenna inside of a big metal box. Every ham scratching their head going, why did they do that?
Is the difference? You just extend that antenna. Just put a little.
Right. If they have I should have
one of these days. I'll get around to it. SMA adapter.
Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing inside a 705, but a 705 is in a plastic case. So
exactly.
Yeah. So that exactly. Yeah.
What?
But I mean, Wi-Fi is neat, but it's not necessary. The Bluetooth I like because you can Bluetooth it to a computer and use it for WSJTX and other things. WinLink, Bluetooth it to a computer and WinLink it. So I thought that was pretty fun. But and the 6100 has the same tuner the G90 has, I think. But I don't know. I had high hopes. My problem with Zygo is they come out with a cool product and then they drop it and they stop making updates for it. But they did come out with a G90 update just not too long ago. So I thought they had dropped that project, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a new firmware update. I'm like, okay, well, that's
people still love that radio.
They outsource the firmware to a third party, and so that's part of the problem. Like they've got one guy in house that's a genius at making RF. I mean, I will grant them this. It's not the best stuff, but they are innovating. And then they outsource the software to somebody else. And they're bringing out a new radio, and they just brought out the G106. The G106 is a very simple radio, and I appreciate what they're doing. There are better radios, don't get me wrong, but I appreciate that they're making new radios all the time, and they're trying new things, and they're throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And who else is doing that?
Right, correct, absolutely correct. Yes, they are doing what hams have requested. So that's a good thing. Don,
so Dell in the chat has a good question. Why drop $400 to $500 on a Zygo when you can get an FT891 and 80 watts for like $100 more? Because you're missing the tuner and you're missing the color waterfall. Those are the two things that the Zygo brings to the table. FT891 is better receiver, better noise filtering, more power. 100% all day long, 100% agreed. But for an entry level, my first radio, I don't know if I like this or not. I want to try it. G90 is a great place to start. Not the best, but great value. Yeah.
Don says that N5SKT, Don, he says the best value in ham radio is the Hermes Lite 2.0, a $395 Apache Labs Anon, however you say that word. Yes, I would agree with, I don't know if I agree with you 100%, but I see what you're saying. I think that is a fair point. And then Don comes over and contradicts himself. Isn't the FX4CR a better radio for a little bit more?
No tuner.
No tuner, built-in sound card, waterfall, color screen.
And if you put the right amount of power voltage into it, you'll get the right amount of watts out of it.
That's correct. Yeah,
I like it. It's a good radio.
I like it too. I have the original FX4C and the FX4CR, and I like both of them. The 4CR had a few more bugs in it when it was new, but he's doing a good job of about providing updated firmware and whatnot. So I like that radio a lot, actually. So
Ham Radio Insight is asking about, does the G90 have a playback feature?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Where I can call CQ for you? I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
The 891
the X6100 does. The 891 does.
Yes, the 6100 does also as well.
So are y'all ready for?
But the 6100s is kind of buggy. Take it away, Frank.
I haven't used it. One last comment. The FX4CR, I was poking around eBay the other day, and the guy who makes all those pre-made cables to go between certain radios and the Zygu amplifier, the X125B amplifier, he now makes a cable for the FX4CR. It's like $40, something like that. So you just plug your 10 to 20 watt FX4CR into the Zygu amplifier. You got 95 to 105 watts. Boom, done. So that's a neat little amplifier for what it is. It's not a replacement. When it first came out, people were like, it's too expensive to buy 705 and that amplifier just buy 7300. Yes, true statement. But if you already have one and you want to tinker around with other QRP radios, it's a cool little amplifier. Go ahead, Frank.
This question comes from ThinkPad Mods. What you guys think is the best UHF VHF all modes radio? He wants to do single sideband on 2 meter 440 and maybe 124.
If you're going to include 1.2 gigs, the only thing in production right now, correct me if I'm wrong, is the 9700.
I think you're right.
If you're talking about all three of those bands, if you just want 2 meter 440, the 7100, the 991A, the older 857, 897, IC706 Mark II-G, IC7000, FT818 for QRP.
So the best is the hard question.
The
you're
best
still
is
at the
hard
9700.
question, yeah. The 9700 is going to be the most updated, best filtering, most futuristic. I mean, plug it into a computer and go. You can do FT8 on 2 meters and 440, which is really fun.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the one that's supported by all the satellite and moon bounce apps.
Right.
And it'll do like auto Doppler tracking and stuff with software. And you could do this with a lot of other ones. Don't get me wrong. But like if you wanted to get into those things, you're going to get into like company. I'm going to walk into a room with a bunch of, other people that have 9700s and start talking 9700 language, as opposed to coming in with like the FT818, which will do all that stuff. But now I've got to translate from 9700 language to FT818 language to AMP language to, go to the group first that does that thing and then get what they get and hang with the cool people,
Yes, agreed. Yeah, somebody's probably already done all the experiments you want to do with it. So this is a good question here, and Steve, this is right up your alley. KA2AUB. Do I have to do firmware updates for the G90 in order, or can I skip right to the newest version?
You can skip right to the newest version and look at a video on my channel for Dale Farnsworth's software, G90 Update FW. It's actually all one word, G90 Update FW, all lowercase, all one word. And he's got the software that makes it super easy. The way that Zygu does it with tiny Teraterm, whatever it's called, and picking the X modem and setting it to 1K upload. Skip all that nonsense. G90 update firmware. It's a command line app. You type in G90 update firmware and the firmware name, and it like goes and finds the radio and does the update. It's a 2-part update for the main body and for the head unit. Do the main body first, then do the head unit, and then the latest revision I think is head unit only. But I don't think you need to do the latest revision because all it does is change some cat control commands, and cat control already works for you. So I think it's an overly complicated process, but yeah, just go straight to the version that you want that has the features that you want. And I am personally two revisions behind, technically three, because they did the cat control update, which is the head unit only. Then they did the main body update, which fixed the AM problem that they created with the previous main body update, and then we're way in the weeds here. Then the update before that is the one where the buttons on the front of the radio actually match what your owner's manual says, because they changed the way the filtering works on the twin bandpass filters to left and right side of it.
Yeah.
Have fun is what it's really
Have
about.
fun.
You can go
Have
up
fun.
and down in versions all day long.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. Yeah.
So people are talking about the Kenwood TS2000, which has been discontinued, but it is a good all-mode radio. That one, if I'm not mistaken, that one does 100 watts on 2-meter sideband. I believe that one.
I don't know, but that would be awesome.
I believe that one does 100 watts on 2-meter sideband, 50 watts on FM, and 100 watts on sideband, if I'm not mistaken. I always wanted a TS2000 until I sat down in front of one at Field Day one year, 7 or 8 years ago, to a friend who brought one, and I was like, I don't like this thing on HF. But it's a fantastic all-mode 2-meter 440 radio. Some people are talking in the chat about the 905 doing everything we just said. Yes, I think that it will.
Highly specialized.
Yeah,
for a lot more money and a lot less power than the 9700. Okay, so unless you just really, really, really want microwave, SHF, super high frequency, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, unless you just really, really want that, the 9700 will do more power, and those modes up to 1.2 gigahertz also. So, and I don't know, yeah, for a lot less money, you can get a 9700 for about $1,400, I think, and the 905 is $3,500. So buy two 9700s. So get a 9700 and a 7300 and put them in a box and make them Twinkies. You still spend less money than a 905. So, but yes, 905 will do that too. QRP, but it'll do that too.
The 905 looks like fun, but you need a 905 friend. There are a lot of 9700 friends out there. There's only like three 905 friends right now.
Correct. Yeah, and the reason I don't have a 905 is because I couldn't talk Frank into buying one. So who am I going to talk to?
Right.
So
it's true.
It's true. Yeah. But yes. So looking for questions. Okay, this is Brian Garrison. I think this has been asked. Best all mode, all band, 100 watt HF, VHF, UHF mobile radio for my truck.
Jeez, he wants it all.
I have my opinion on that, and I will go last. What do you guys think? Frank, you've never had one of those.
I missed the question. I was chatting in the chat.
Okay.
That's okay.
What is a best all 100 watt all bands?
7100 done.
7100.
7100 is probably yes. Yeah, 7100 is the only thing that's currently in production that fits that description. The 7000, in my opinion, is a much better radio than the 7100. I just like it better. I like it's more compact. The face fits on the radio.
Oh, it's composite out. Yeah.
yeah. But
composite video out for the big screen.
Yeah. 7100 is the only thing in production that fits that bill.
But the only thing that draws back is that screen. That is head mount thing.
It's weird,
awkward.
but
so Frank,
it's weird.
It's awkward, but once you have one in your hands, it makes sense. Like there's two things. Number one is you put it in the car, it's a touch screen, and it's useful and it's visible. It doesn't look washed out or awkward or anything. That's nice. And when it's mounted in the car, it's tilted in the direction that you want it. So that doesn't matter either. But the second thing that really shines on that is you can have just that control unit sitting on your desk next to your laptop, next to your mouse. And it's just tiny and doesn't take up any space.
Now that makes sense there, but in a car, I don't know. But I take offense with the question. Radio for your truck.
Because you don't have a truck.
What
are you doing in Texas without a truck, Frank?
Well, that's another subject. It's a totally another subject. So I say just recently. I learned semi-recently, I think it was at Quartz Fest actually this year, that the 7100 head, and I didn't never know this because I've never owned one, it has a tripod mount on the bottom of it. And I'm like, well, shoot, you can put a tripod mount anywhere. So that makes it a little bit more convenient, in my opinion, to mount that.
So much.
Now, people are talking about
is the 7105.
Yes. I want the 7050. The 7050.
Okay, I'll take that too.
Yeah.
I'll take that
something like a
you know
AC,
what I mean.
I want a IC 7000 updated with a tuner and a sound card and get rid of the D-Star. Boom.
Oh,
awesome.
definitely. I'll take that.
Yeah. Now people are saying the 991A. I don't think a 991A is a mobile radio.
For a
guys.
mobile,
Hmm.
you can.
No, you can.
Driving a
I know.
Hummer.
Yeah, I know a guy who ran a
Got room?
7300 in his car in his truck. He built a custom console for the middle of his Chevy pickup, and he tapped out CW with the 7100 driving down the road. You can do it, but that radio is not a mobile radio in reality. So yeah, 857 is a fantastic rig. 897. Grayman Poda says 897. That's I have an 897.
That's
I
a
really
big
like
box.
that rig. It is
For
Yeah,
mobile?
it's kind of big for mobile.
Same thing.
If you take the tuner and or battery off the side, it's a lot smaller than 991 is. If you put mine has the tuner on it, so if you include that, it's about the same, maybe roughly about the same size as 991.
FT891 and an FC50.
Yeah.
But it's not all mode, not all band. Sorry.
No. The 891 they took out the VHF UHF for some who knows why reason. But yeah, so what do you think about the ham radio? Am I ham radio Jason? Is that what I am now? What do you think about the VG VR N7500? We talked about that one a little bit ago.
Great.
You might not have been here. It's a great radio. Yeah, great radio.
It's fun.
Radio. So
fun first is what I say. Enjoy yourself, have fun, play with the toys, find one you like.
Correct. Okay, so I saw another question that would be good for you, Steve. Here it is. K6RDJ, Richard in the house. How difficult is a Mars mod on the G90?
Oh. So I have not done this yet, but the rumor has it you open the top, you pull the lid off of it, and there's like an arrow that points to the part to remove. Like, this is the one, remove it, go. Done. Mars mod.
You're not the first person I heard that from.
I need to do it. I just, so much stuff on my plate to
That'd
film.
be a good
I
video.
filmed 3 videos this weekend, and I still have a truckload of shit.
Circle back around. Explain what is the Mars mod for someone who does not know what that term is.
Yeah, it opens up all the bands to transmit on, and Mars is military adjacent, military adjunct, something
auxiliary
military
auxiliary radio service. Yeah. But people
it's meant for you as the ham radio operator to talk to people in country, in foreign countries, in battlefields, and relay messages back to their loved ones in the United States. It's a service, and you should have a license in order to operate it. But Mars mod is the generic term we use to like open transmit on a radio. And so it allows you to transmit on all kinds of frequencies, and your radio is really not good at it because it's not designed for it.
And let's just be honest here. Most people get a Mars mod so they can either use their HF radio on 11 meters or their VHF UHF on GMRS. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do you.
Right.
But that's what, and I won't say that I've never done that because it would be a lie. So, it's my IC7000, the first one ever, or the second one I ever bought was a used radio, and it was Mars modded. It'll transmit on 11 meters. I didn't Mars mod it. I bought it that way, and you know what? Using it that way sucks because the receiver on that thing is so awesome. You can't hear the truck drivers next to you. You got to get a half a mile down the road so I can understand what you're saying because you're blowing my receiver out. Because I've not gotten some crap ass Cobra 29 receiver that you can sit literally next to one another and talk on 4 or 50 watts and understand one another because the receivers in those radios are junk. The IC7000 has a really great receiver, and it's not made to talk to somebody that's 25 feet away from you.
Yeah.
So
Jamscan's asking a question. Does Mars modding mess with how the radio transmits? As in, will it make your rig have spurious emissions? Yes. Most radios have a built-in filter set that is designed for the bands that the radio was built to operate on, and you're now operating outside of those filters. So it's up to you as the radio operator to put those filters in place or accept the consequences, which is why they're It's kind of what Jason's talking about. They're not built, a ham radio is not built to receive on 11 meters or transmit on 11 meters. It can, it's just not good at it at all. And you can fix this by building your own low pass filter board or band pass filter board. And it's not difficult to do, but it's actually kind of fun to do if you want to play with it a little bit. It's really simple stuff to do. But at the same time, it's something that radio wasn't made to do. Like, let me take my pickup truck and try drag racing with it. It's not designed for drag racing.
Right.
It'll do it. I'm not going to win, but it'll do it.
Yeah. All right, Charlie's got a good question. I'm going to buy a FTDX10, new or used. Yes.
If you trust the seller.
So the FTDX10 is still pretty new, and it's such a freaking awesome radio that the used prices on them are pretty high. I mean, there's people out there getting asking. I don't know if they're getting it. They're asking $750 to $850 for a freaking IC7000 still. Okay. If you can find one for a good, decent, used, like a couple $100 or more off the new price, and you trust the seller, do that by all means. But my suggestion is wait about a month for the Black Friday sale. I don't know if they usually put the stuff on Black Friday. Black Friday's been a little bit weird ever since COVID happened 3 years ago, so I don't have any inside knowledge or anything like that. I assume stuff will be on sale for Black Friday. I don't know that for a fact, but I would look on the QRZ forums and see what the used ones are selling for. Search for completed auctions, and search for completed auctions on eBay and completed sales on QRZ. See what the used ones go for, and if it's within like $100, get a new one. But if it's a good $200 to $250 less, yeah, I would do that. But that's my opinion. I mean, those radios hold and retain their value quite well because they're so new and so great. So the other thing is Don N5SKT, and Steve, I was going to ask you about this before the stream went live, and I forgot. Can you and T.O. talk about travel trailers for a minute, please?
Sure.
So I want to do a live stream on my other channel about travel trailers. Now, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and I'm not going to want to do this every week.
I'll join in with you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought maybe you and I should start spin up something. I want to do something about once a month. I'm trying to get Hank Strange on. I've been talking with him about doing a specific subject about van life, about van building. So I want to do that. But you and I can talk about RV stuff. And if you guys didn't see my video, Frank, I don't know if you can go find that video real quick. I'm selling my old RV trailer. It's a 2011 Dutchman Coleman Lantern Edition, 27-foot bumper pull, double axle. Everything works. It's kind of rough around the edges in a few places, but I go through all that. I did like a 20-minute video and just walked all around.
Is this on the Unplugged channel?
It's on the Unplugged channel, yeah. Walked all the way around the outside, all the way around the inside, talked about everything, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's that. But yeah, I'll hit you up about that in a little bit there, Steve, because I was going to ask you about that and I forgot.
Definitely.
So
what do you want to know about travel trailers?
Yeah, what do you want to know, Don?
Get one. That's the short answer. But
right.
Yeah, I mean they're fantastic. Self-contained living. You don't like your neighbors, move. Too much noise floor, move.
Right.
We're actually in an RV park right now, and we were next to somebody that we didn't like what happened with them. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but they were weird. So we just moved to the other side of the RV park. Problem solved, Where else can you do that, like you get a new assignment for your job and you need to be, across town and the commute sucks. Move. That's yep. Like, I wish I would have. I wanted to do this when I was younger. I used to drive an hour and 45 minutes each way to work. Stupid. But I was young and I needed the experience and the resume candy and and do what you got to do. And I wish I would have just bought a little camper van and gotten after it.
I would if I could talk my wife into it. I told her, I said, what we need to do is hit the road from like February because our first stop would be Orlando.
Right.
So we need to hit the road for the summer, basically. Okay. We can be around Orlando in February, kind of nonchalantly head to Ohio, be in Ohio in May. No ulterior motives there whatsoever. And then we could go up north somewhere for the summer where it's not so blasted hot, 110 degrees every day. And then at Labor Day, we could come back to Texas and stay at our Galveston house that we do every year anyway. And we just stay there for the rest of the year. It's like we'll live 6 months in Galveston, and 6 months we'll hit the road, and we'll rent the Galveston house for the summer, which is the peak season anyway. That's what I want to do. So you guys who see the door chick in the chat, you tell her that's what she needs to let me do that. So Ham Radio Tectonics Bills is in the house. He's RV life guy. Yep. He is a pilot, and when he's not in the air, he is traveling about. He was at Quartz Fest last year. So
yeah, I mean, get one. I mean, I've got it was interesting. I downsized everything. I sold the house, and we've been on the road for 5 or 6 months now, and it's great. I mean, it's got drawbacks, but so does living in a house next to people you don't like.
We live in a great neighborhood here. I can't complain, but
I lived
in a great neighborhood before. I had no neighbors. It was fantastic. I had a 40-acre property, and every window in my house, there was nobody you could see. It was great.
Yep. Let's see. So, Brian, what's the latest, best DMR handheld radio? That is a matter of contention.
There's a lot of them now. It's not just one or two.
Contention. My favorite is still the Anytone. The Anytone D878 UV2 Plus, which is currently the only one in production. Bridgecom sells some refurbished ones of the older models, but yeah, the Anytone. So
the Anytone over the R-Finder?
See, that's the thing. Okay, so if you're talking about a
money's
radio,
not an object,
right? Well, so every time I do a video about R-Finder, I get the comment, "That's too much to pay for an HT." If you think the R-Finder is an HT, you're not listening. You're not actually listening to what I say, and you're not reading the details. It's much, 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 much more than an HT. It's a full Android device with the built-in HT. So I don't really put it in the same category as just a regular old dual-band radio, because it does a lot more than that. The R-Finder is obviously easier because it's point-and-click programming for analog and DMR. It does have the built-in hotspot now where you can just connect to Brandmeister or TGIF with no external hotspot. It just does it all by itself. So yeah, it's great. But they are about $1,200 because it's a full Android device. No contract, no bloatware, no crap that you can't uninstall. So it's good in that. But the Anytone's my favorite actual dual-band DMR radio. So it's still...
I would agree with that.
And I know that a lot of guys are saying Motorola. Motorola is not dual band, number one. Motorola doesn't make a dual band in DMR. They make a dual band Apex if you want a P25 radio and you want to pay as much for it as, like, say, a 7610. Hey, great. More power to you.
So this is where the argument comes in. This is the Radioddity GD88.
And yeah.
It's a good DMR radio. It's not a great DMR radio, but it is full frontal duplex, so you can do all your full duplex stuff, and it does cross-band, cross-mode repeat if that's a thing that you want to play with. But it comes down to religion, like the R-Finder versus the Anytone versus the B-Tech versus the Radioddity. They're all good.
What do you mean
Open
full
GD77 is good.
frontal duplex?
It's better than full duplex. It's a thing we do. It's a joke.
I'm
It's a joke, Frank.
Okay.
Full duplex.
Okay.
It means you can talk to satellites, and while you're talking to them, you can hear yourself on the other frequency on the downlink.
Yeah,
at the same time, so you know that you're making it through.
Full duplex.
Yeah.
No. Full frontal duplex.
full frontal duplex.
I
like that one.
Trying to literally parse that. I'm like, what do you mean? You can do it from the front panel?
I broke Frank.
Yeah, you broke
the Frank.
I need more whiskey. I didn't have cigars today.
I smoked several cigars this week at the park, so I was happy. But Lubbock has a kick-ass cigar shop in Lubbock, freaking Texas. Yeah. I went in there and I was like, I asked my wife, I was like, is there any cigars? She doesn't know. She went to school there for 5 years. She has no idea if there's a cigar shop there. Of course, that was 20 years ago. But I was like, she's like, yeah, this one's over here. I know where it's at. Go here, go here. I was like, okay. We walked in there and, dude, they have 3 freaking walls full of cigars, and like the whole place is a humidor. And I'm like, what the hell is this? They had cigars in there. They had some añejos in there, and those don't come out for another month. So, yeah, I was surprised by that. So the next time you guys are in Lubbock, Texas, go check out there's only one in town. They have 2 or 3 vape that are smoke shops, that are vape shops, and actual real cigar shop. It was fun.
If it has vape in the name with cigar, I do not go there.
That's how you know they don't.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I had to explain that to Emily was like, well, what's the difference? I had to explain that. She's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So, yes, okay. Does the R-Finder do VHF, UHF? Yes. The new B1 and the new M6 that's coming out at the end of this month are both dual band. And they are, and you can transmit on one. It's not full duplex. So in other words, You can set the radio to transmit on VHF and receive on UHF, or vice versa, but you don't hear yourself while you're transmitting. Okay? And I'm just going to say that, I'm just going to honestly say this, the receivers on those radios is not that great. So if you're going to do and they've got the whole satellite database in them now. I'm working on a video with their new satellite antenna.
Intergalactic Repeater Directory.
They renamed it to the Intergalactic Repeater Directory because it's got all the satellites, the ISS, and all the stuff in it now. So it does a great job with pointing the antenna and tracking whatever satellite you want to track. But I suggest connecting another radio like a V71 or something, or maybe even like an 847 if you want to do like an HF satellite or sideband satellite. And it'll track all of that. It's not just FM. It'll track all the things, not just the FM satellites. But it's really cool. But you can talk on, you can listen on the RFinder and talk on another radio or vice versa, something like that. But it's a neat feature that he's added to it. So, but yes, it will do VHF UHF. It will. 45 auto, you need to get out more, son.
Now, does the B1 leach power? Because I swear I turned mine off the other weekend, and then I went to go grab it this weekend, and it was dead. I swear I turned you off. Why are you dead again?
I believe, yeah, I believe that it does.
Because I was just surprised that I was like,
yeah.
It was a week ago. 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. 2 weeks ago, I was in a park and I just had it in the car and I wanted to grab it and operate with it. And I was like, why isn't you turning on?
Yeah.
I know I turned you off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think those batteries last a very long time. I think that radio's doing a lot of things and it can run down the battery fast.
Even when I turned it off.
See, I would like to hear Bob's official answer to that question, because I have noticed the same thing that you're talking about, that I'll turn mine off and I'll come back later and it won't be dead, but it'll be lower than it was when I turned it off. So I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of that is, do you have an extended battery for it?
No, I think it's just a normal battery.
Yeah. They have an extended.
Ham Radio AMA is saying the battery does drain even while
I think that it does.
It's not your grandmother. It's Ohana. It means family.
Ohana. I'm sorry. I see it now. It's the Hawaiian.
Yeah. But yes. So I think that take the battery off. Next time, shut it down, take the battery off, and then put it back on, and then wait a few days and put it back on and see.
Yeah,
see what happens with it.
That is a removable battery. That's awesome.
It does.
Yeah,
Android with a removable battery.
Yes, yeah. What a concept, right? Yeah, so you can carry around You can carry around 3 batteries. It's easy. You just, what do you know? So yeah,
I could not get it working on satellites, and I don't know if
Really?
this is because of my antenna. It could not be my antenna. Take
probably
is broken. It needs to reboot.
it's probably where.
Not C#. No.
Oh gosh. It's probably where you're pointing your antenna more than anything.
Ham Radio Oma and Opa. Nice.
Oh boy. So, okay. Any last questions, guys? We're going about 90 minutes, and I appreciate all of the interaction today, all of the chat, the questions, the comments, the statements, everything that everyone's talking about. I really appreciate you guys being here for that. And I actually. So Don read my mind about the RV chat. I want to do a monthly live stream on my Unplugged channel starting soon.
Let's do it.
Soon. So, yeah. T.O.'s got Frank, share the link to my Unplugged channel again, if you would, please. And I have an RV/overlanding. It started as an off-grid gear review. That's why it's called Unplugged, doing stuff off-grid. I plan on making several videos at my hunting lease next month because deer season starts, and I'm like, hey, this is a great opportunity because there's no grid out there. We're going to be running on battery power and stuff. And Steve, Steve has a RV channel. Is it RV or Overland, or is it just RV?
It's just RVing.
Just RVing. Okay. So yeah, Steve has one too. So you guys go check that out if that sort of thing interests you. As I say with all of my channels, if it interests you, please go subscribe. If it doesn't interest you, don't subscribe just because it helps me out. Don't do that. If you really want to watch the videos over there, go subscribe to it. But if not, that's okay too. So Don, thank you for the super chat, buddy. It's great having Don Army in the chat. Don Army is in the chat. I got Smoke Signals out there. WJ3U. Yeah.
Yep.
Digidio. WJ3U is what I call him. And then N5SKT's in there as well. But that's great, guys.
Thanks, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. So, good deal, guys. Thank you very much for this, for joining us tonight. Frank and Steve, thank you for joining me tonight as well. It's always good to have commentary and whatnot on the channel, and I really like the back and forth and the interaction in the chat and everything. So we will do this again next month. I'm trying to do these AMAs about once a month. So if anyone would like to guest speak, hit me up in Discord, send me an email, something like that. I invite try to get one person per month on. Besides Frank, I mean, Frank and I, and plus one person. So that's what we're trying to do. But thank you for being here tonight. So 73 all, and we'll see you this week during Monday Night Ham Radio tomorrow. A lot of people have videos that drop tomorrow, and then this week as well. So I plan on doing a live stream this week. I'm actually going to be home on Wednesday, so we'll see. So later, guys. See ya. Everybody, wave goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I got all the links in the chat.
Thanks, Frank.